So our kickstand hip hinge, this is an exercise that we like to teach a lot of people to lead into things like deadlifting. The hip hinge is a fundamental movement that is kind of the basis of all deadlift movements. So what we see a lot of times when people try to hip hinge or try to do deadlifts is they're kind of just bending forward at the waist, but what we really need to emphasize is the hips shifting back. A hip hinge should be kind of a horizontal movement of the hips versus a squat, which is more of a vertical movement of the hips. So the way we're gonna teach this, we're gonna start just on one leg. So Mike's just gonna stand on his right leg. Then we know that all of his weight's on his right foot. If his left foot's off the floor, he has to have all of his weight on his right foot. He's gonna bend his knee a little bit, and then he's just gonna set the toes of his left foot down without shifting his weight back. Mike, go ahead and face totally this way. Now lift that left foot up again. Show them what it looks like if you put that foot down and put some weight on it. So you can see that his body weight shifts back. So he's no longer loaded up on this right leg. Go ahead and lift that leg again. Now when he sets his left foot down, he's not gonna shift. Now we know all of his weight's still on that right foot. He's gonna have a little bend in his knee. We don't really care exactly how much of a bend in the knee, but whatever bend you start with, you're gonna stick to throughout the entire movement. Mike's gonna put his right hand back on his right glute. With that hand, he's gonna feel for his hips to shift back into that hand. He should feel his glutes actually stretching, whether that's a sensation of stretch in his glutes themselves, or whether that's feeling his pants and his glute tissues actually stretch underneath his hand, just using the sensation in his hand. His other hand is gonna go right on the front of his hip, kind of where if you lift your knee up, where that crease would be between your leg and your hip. So now he's gonna imagine that he's pushing back with this left hand. His glutes are going back the entire time into his right hand. He's keeping that same bend in his knee. If he stops feeling his hip shift back, then he's gonna stop the movement. From there, he's gonna start to push into the floor with his foot. He's gonna imagine squashing an orange right underneath the center of his foot, under his laces. He's gonna build up that pressure. Right away when he starts to push, he should feel that glute engage, and he's gonna keep driving down into the floor and let those hips come forward as he comes up. Now again, when he finishes this rep, he should be able to pick that left foot up again, and his weight shouldn't have shifted at all through that movement. So let's go through another rep, Mike. He's gonna push back with that left hand. His glutes are going back the entire time. The knee stays bent. The knee also has to stay kind of forward of the ankle. Let's show them a bad rep, Mike, where if you shift back, if his knee starts to come back, now he's getting a lot of movement at the ankle and he's not shifting as much through his hips. So we really want to keep that knee forward of the ankle to make sure that movement is coming all from the hip itself.